Have you ever imagined what it's like to feel your team on the edge, about to lose, and suddenly an epic comeback happens? Well, that's the spirit of the Ravens. Today, we're going to relive the 5 greatest comebacks in the history of this franchise that never gives up, surprising us when everything seems lost. Each of these comebacks is more than just a win. It's a reminder that, as long as the game isn't over, there's always a chance for Baltimore to show its strength. You'll see moments that made our hearts race, victories that left us speechless, and plays that are forever etched in our memories. But here's a spoiler. There's one comeback that will leave you in awe. And if you think you've seen it all, get ready. I guarantee you, this list will surprise you. Stick with me until the end to find out if your favorite comeback is on this list. What makes the Ravens so special? The answer lies in the spirit of the franchise, something that goes beyond just winning or losing. It's the mindset of never giving up, even when everything seems lost. Since its founding, the team has shown a unique trait, a resilient heart that beats strong in every game. No matter the difficulty or the score, the Ravens are known for fighting until the last second, always looking for a comeback. This resilience is more than just a game strategy. It's a philosophy that runs throughout the entire organization. When it comes to great moments of overcoming adversity, the Ravens become an unpredictable and formidable team. This mentality didn't appear out of nowhere. With legendary players like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Terrell Suggs, the Ravens proved that an unbeatable defense is just the beginning of a story of overcoming odds. During Ray Lewis's era, the Ravens defense became one of the most feared in the NFL. But it wasn't just physical strength that intimidated opponents. It was a relentless focus and determination to never back down, no matter what happened on the field. This was reflected in every play, every second, and of course, in the victories that seemed impossible. In moments of great pressure, when defeat seemed imminent, the Ravens always came up with something more, an indomitable will to win. Let's remember historic games where the team managed to turn around tough situations and secure unexpected victories. The team is like a boxer who, even after a devastating blow, gets up and fights on with even more strength. This spirit is embedded in the franchise's culture and its fan base, creating a unique connection between the team and its supporters. It's an identity that transcends the games and becomes something every Ravens fan carries with them. For opponents, facing the Ravens is synonymous with entering a battle. The mentality of never giving up makes even the most confident teams feel uneasy when playing against Baltimore. The weight of the franchise's history rests on the shoulders of those facing the Ravens, knowing that this team has an almost supernatural ability to rise again, especially when the odds are stacked against them. This is the essence of the Ravens. They never accept defeat without giving one last fight. And how does this overcoming mentality reflect in the most memorable comebacks in the team's history? Well, over the years, the Ravens not only won tough games, they also pulled off some of the most incredible comebacks the NFL has ever seen. This resilient spirit was a foundation for victories that seemed impossible. But as we'll see next, these comebacks are merely the reflection of a team that never gives up, regardless of how the game unfolds. Speaking of comebacks, who doesn't remember the Mile High Miracle? This is just one example that illustrates the power of the Ravens' unshakable belief. A game that seemed lost, but the team managed to turn it around with historic play that will forever stay in the memory of the fans. And it's this thrilling game that we're going to talk about next, where the Ravens' spirit of never giving up shone undeniably. In 2012, the Ravens found themselves in the playoffs against the Broncos in Denver, a hostile environment full of history, and a cold field that seemed to be an extra challenge for Baltimore. The team knew they were up against one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, Peyton Manning, and the pressure was sky high. However, what no one could have imagined was that the game would become one of the most memorable in Ravens history, especially because it seemed lost until the final seconds. The scoreboard was against them, and their only chance to move forward was a miracle. With the clock nearly running out, the Ravens were still trailing by 7 points, with just over a minute left to play. But Joe Flacco, with the confidence he always had in critical moments, knew that something spectacular was needed. With impressive calm, he threw a 70-yard pass to Jacoby Jones, who was in the end zone, The stadium fell silent for a second before erupting in celebration from the Ravens fans. Jacoby Jones made the catch, and the game was tied. It was a pass that, in a moment of desperation, redefined expectations for the team and, more importantly, the winning mentality of the franchise. The play between Flacco and Jones was undoubtedly one of the greatest moments in franchise history. But the game wasn't over yet. The Ravens managed to push the game into overtime, and once again, their confidence remained strong. The defense, which had been solid throughout, did enough to hold back the Broncos' offense. And, as if to reward the grit they had shown, Justin Tucker stepped onto the field and, with a precise kick, secured the Ravens' victory, cementing that miracle as one of the most impressive comebacks ever seen. The impact of this victory went far beyond just advancing to the next round of the playoffs. It showed that the Ravens were a team capable of bouncing back from any situation, even when all seemed lost. The confidence in those moments was something rare, and showcased the true fighting spirit of the franchise. The play between Flacco and Jones will forever be etched in the minds of every Ravens fan as proof that, when victory seemed impossible, the team always finds a way to surprise. But what makes this game so special is how it represents the DNA of the Ravens. Always resilient, always fighting until the end. The confidence and determination displayed by the players that day are traits that have defined the team over the years. Furthermore, this game brought a new dimension to the team, one that will be seen as an unbeatable force in the playoffs. No matter the situation, if the Ravens were on the field, the impossible always seemed possible. And speaking of great plays and comebacks, do the Ravens still have that same overcoming spirit today? How do the current teams compare to that legendary squad? What can we expect for the future of the Ravens and their incredible comebacks? And can you feel the impact a mile-high miracle had on the history of the Ravens? Leave a comment if you also remember this epic moment and how it helped solidify the team's resilient identity. Let's discuss these historic comebacks that made the Ravens known as an unbeatable team in moments of pressure. In 2011, the Ravens were looking for revenge against the Patriots after their bitter loss in the AFC Championship game in 2010. The Baltimore team knew that the task wouldn't be easy. Facing Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in Foxborough, one of the hardest places for visitors in the NFL. But the Ravens were determined to prove that this team had what it took to overcome even the greatest challenges. And this game would be the opportunity to take the first step towards something even greater. The game was marked by moments of pure tension, with the lead switching back and forth. What seemed like a night when the Ravens could finally claim their long-awaited playoff victory turned into a nerve-wracking test. Baltimore found themselves trailing by 21 points in the second half, a considerable deficit against a team as experienced as the Patriots. But instead of folding under pressure, the Ravens began to show why they were known for their resilience. Every play, every decision seemed to fuel the players' confidence, and the team appeared to gain strength as the clock ticked down. The Ravens' defense, led by Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, did the impossible to keep the Patriots at bay. When the game seemed to reach its peak, Flacco, who had been questioned throughout his career, threw a perfect pass to Antoine Bolden, who made a crucial touchdown. This gave the Ravens a chance to continue their pursuit of victory, and the team was clearly on the rise. Baltimore's fans believed in a comeback, and the team didn't disappoint. The pressure kept mounting, but the Ravens' confidence only grew. Despite their bravery, Baltimore couldn't hold on to the lead and lost in a tight finish, leaving a sense of frustration in the hearts of the fans. However, this game became one of the most intense in NFL playoff history and helped solidify the Ravens' reputation as an unbeatable team in moments of pressure. The fighting spirit seen in this game not only demonstrated the team's potential, but also reinforced a mentality that would later help them win the Super Bowl. This game against the Patriots became a classic example of how the Ravens never give up until the last second. Even after a bitter loss, both fans and players knew that this team had the ability to achieve great things in the future. The way the team bounced back during the game and never lost faith was emblematic of what defines the Ravens as a franchise, always ready to fight until the end, no matter the difficulty. Now, when we look ahead to the future of the Ravens and the epic comebacks the team could still achieve, it's impossible not to compare this spirit with what we see today. How do you think the Ravens can maintain this resilient mentality in the coming years. The game against the Vikings in 2013 was one of the most insane games in recent Ravens history. On that Monday Night Football, Baltimore faced Minnesota in a game that seemed scripted to be a true roller coaster ride. The tension was palpable, and from the start, it was clear that it would be an unpredictable showdown. Both teams were fighting for a crucial win, but the Ravens were about to experience a moment that would be etched in the memory of their fans forever. With less than a minute left in the game, the Ravens were trailing by a touchdown. The situation was critical, and it seemed like the Baltimore team would have to accept defeat. But with Joe Flacco at the helm, hope never faded. Flacco, known for his coolness in decisive moments, didn't let the pressure shake him. He led a final drive, making precise and crucial passes, bringing the team to the edge of the end zone. The crowd, already aware of the intense tension, felt that the team still had a chance, even as the clock ticked down. On the final play of the game, Flacco threw a pass to Jacoby Jones, who was in a perfect position to score the game-winning touchdown. The entire stadium was in absolute silence as Jones made a flawless catch and took the ball into the end zone, securing Baltimore's 29-26 victory. The play was a cherry on top of a night filled with everything: tension, chaos, and a historic turnaround that no one could have predicted. The reaction from the players and fans reflected what it means to be a Ravens fan, the certainty that as long as the game isn't over, the fight never ends. This victory was more than just an entry in the record books. It represented the true essence of what it means to be a Raven, never giving up, even when the odds seemed slim. The game against the Vikings was a true roller coaster, with the Ravens rising up in the last second to achieve an impressive victory. For the fans, this comeback became one of the most cherished in the team's history, as it not only proved the team's willpower, but also their ability to make history in times of crisis. After this game, the Ravens were even more confident in their ability to pull off epic comebacks. The team knew how to handle pressure and how to respond when everything seemed lost. Against the Vikings, it was clear that Baltimore's strength lay in its unbeatable mentality. Even when the clock seemed to be against them, the team never lost faith, something that defined the franchise's character. And when the crucial play happened, the impact of this victory was much more than technical. It showed the world that when it comes to overcoming adversity, the Ravens are always ready to give their best, no matter the circumstances. And speaking of great comebacks, how can we not remember the comeback against the Colts in the 2006 playoffs? That game also clearly illustrates the Ravens' willpower. Let's take a look at that moment and see how it helped shape the franchise's legacy. Well, we're heading into the fourth comeback, but before we continue, I notice you haven't left a like on this video yet. This is really important for YouTube to continue promoting my content to you, and that way, I'll keep bringing you the best content about the Baltimore Ravens. So, go ahead and leave a like on this video. It's free, right? Thanks. Let's continue. In 2006, the Ravens were having a season full of high expectations, once again chasing glory in the playoffs. The game against the Colts in the AFC divisional round would be a huge test for the team, which had already demonstrated its strength during the regular season. The atmosphere was filled with tension, and the Baltimore team knew that in order to reach the Super Bowl, they would need a tough victory. What no one expected was that this game would become one of the greatest comebacks in the franchise's history. In the first half, everything seemed to be going according to plan for the Colts. With an 18-point lead, victory seemed certain for the Indianapolis team. But the Ravens, known for their relentless defense and resilient mentality, weren't willing to give up so easily. Baltimore's defense, led by legendary players like Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, began to dominate the game impressively, creating turnovers and making every Colts play difficult. Every tackle, every interception seemed to boost the team's confidence, and gradually, they started changing the course of the game. On offense, quarterback Steve McNair and the rest of the offensive team began to do what seemed impossible. The comeback, with precise plays and perfect execution, the Ravens started narrowing the score gap. The team remained calm and focused, and victory seemed within their grasp. It was a clear demonstration of how the team came together, with the defense laying the foundation for the offensive success. The way the Ravens kept their composure, never losing confidence, was a clear reflection of the franchise's winning mentality. As the clock hit 0, the gap had been completely closed. The final play, a decisive field goal by Matt Stover, secured Baltimore's 15-6 victory, sealing a historic comeback that was etched in the minds of all the fans. The defense, which had been essential throughout the process, not only saved the team from defeat, but was responsible for ensuring the team had a chance to make the comeback happen. This game against the Colts perfectly exemplified the Ravens' fighting spirit, showing that as long as there's time, the battle is never lost. This victory was more than just a game. It was a milestone in construction of the Ravens' legacy. The defense, already one of the most feared in the league, was the main reason for the turnaround, solidifying the idea that this team was capable of overcoming any challenge, no matter the disadvantage. This moment helped to solidify the identity of the Ravens as a franchise with an unbeatable fighting spirit, a team that, when pressured, shows its true strength. For the fans, that game was one of the greatest proofs that the Baltimore team should never be underestimated. And when we see how the Ravens managed to overcome the Colts, it brings to mind the more recent comebacks with Lamar Jackson. What has the young quarterback brought to the team? Let's discuss how Lamar has stood out in epic moments and what he's done to keep the Ravens' comeback spirit alive in today's game. Since his arrival with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson has brought a new energy and playing style to the team, transforming the franchise in ways that few could have predicted. With his exceptional talent and unique running abilities, Lamar has not only redefined the quarterback position, but also become a charismatic leader and the soul of the team. Epic comebacks with Lamar at the helm have become a standard, showing that when the game seemed lost, he had the ability to bring the Ravens back into the game and often to victory. In games like the victory against the Browns in 2019, Lamar proved capable of leading the Ravens in high-pressure moments. After being behind for much of the game, he and his team remained composed, and the comeback was built with a combination of precise passes and impressive runs. Lamar's ability to control the pace of the game and make decisive plays with both his feet and arm is what has made him not only a phenomenal quarterback, but a true master of comebacks. His calmness in crisis situations has been essential for the Ravens to continue believing until the last second, always confident that he can find a way to come out on top. Moreover, the Ravens' defense, which has always been one of their greatest strengths, also plays an important role in these comebacks, as Lamar knows he can rely on them to keep opponents under control while he searches for victory. A clear example of this was the 2020 game against the Steelers, when, after trailing on the scoreboard, Lamar led the team to an impressive comeback, including a series of decisive passes and runs that showcase his skill and intelligence in critical moments. He never seems to succumb to pressure, something essential in games where the margin for error is minimal. Lamar Jackson's impact goes far beyond statistics. His presence on the field brings renewed confidence to the entire team. He is not just a great player, but also a natural leader who inspires everyone around him. The way he manages games, keeping the Ravens competitive even in challenging situations, is a clear reflection of the franchise's winning mentality. Every time Lamar steps onto the field, he not only executes brilliant plays, but also makes the Ravens believe that nothing is impossible. The 2021 game against the Colts exemplifies how Lamar can keep the Ravens alive when everything seems lost. With an outstanding performance, he orchestrated one of the greatest comebacks of his career, completing precise passes, and of course, making an epic run to score a touchdown. This type of moment has become increasingly common with Lamar, showing that he is a central figure in all the comebacks the Ravens have had in recent years. His ability to perform under pressure and turn an unfavorable situation into a victory continues to impress all fans. Lamar Jackson has undoubtedly become the new face of the Ravens' historic comebacks. He has shown that, just like the great teams of the past, the mentality of never giving up is more alive than ever. The trust in the team, the teamwork, and Lamar's ability to take control of any situation have become essential elements for the Ravens. And of course, as long as Lamar continues to be the leader, the possibility of an epic comeback will always be within reach. And now, with all these historic comebacks, do the Ravens still maintain the same spirit of resilience as the teams of the past? How does the current team compare to the great rosters that wrote the franchise's history? And if you made it this far, leave a comment saying Lamar Jackson, the master comebacks. So I'll know that you also recognize his impact on the great Ravens comebacks and the legacy of the franchise. Continuing. Now, with the arrival of Lamar Jackson and the recent achievement of the team, the question that lingers is, do the Ravens still maintain that indomitable comeback spirit that defined their history? To understand this, we need to look not only at the more recent victories, but also at how the franchise has shaped itself over the years. What defined the success of the Ravens in the past was a mentality of never giving up, and with Lamar Jackson and the current roster, the same mentality seems to continue driving the team in critical moments. Despite changes in the roster and the new style of play introduced by Lamar, the heart of the franchise, symbolized by its defense and the team's mental toughness, remains strong. No matter how many obstacles arise along the way, the Ravens know how to rise again, whether with a great defense or a quarterback capable of leading the team to major victories. What we see today is a continuation of the tradition of resilience, with the team adapting to the new era while maintaining the essence that has always characterized them. The question remains, with the evolution of the team, is the current generation of Ravens capable of achieving the feats of the past teams, who earned historic accomplishments and became immortal in the memory of fans? To answer this, just look at the impact of players like Lamar Jackson and how the defense has remained solid. Despite changes, the confidence and ability to respond to adversity continue to be the team's greatest asset. Even as the team undergoes transitions, comeback moments remain an essential element of the Ravens' identity. The current team, with a mix of young talents and experienced veterans, continues to uphold the fighting spirit and determination that has always been the trademark of the franchise. As a result, Baltimore remains one of the most unpredictable and exciting teams to watch, with the ability to, at any moment, turn a difficult situation into a great victory. And what do you think? Will the Ravens be able to continue this tradition of epic comebacks in the coming seasons? Will future generations of players carry on this legacy? What can we expect from the future of the franchise, knowing that the culture of the comeback is still alive and at heart? Now, with everything we've discussed, it's clear. The Ravens' ability to come back is something that transcends generations. Even with changes in the roster and playing style, the essence of the franchise remains intact, and the mentality of never giving up continues to be the driving force behind the team. The real question is, with Lamar Jackson's future and the team's evolution, what will be the next great comeback moment for the Ravens? Now, with everything we've discussed, it's clear. The greatest comebacks in Ravens history are more than just game moments. They are proof of the resilient spirit that defines this franchise. Each comeback not only demonstrated the team's grit and determination, but also solidified Baltimore's legacy as a team that never gives up, no matter how tough the challenge. With great names like Joe Flacco, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Lamar Jackson, the Ravens have always had the ability to turn games around and rewrite history, proving that the impossible is just a word. He is an essential piece of the team, a true leader who goes far beyond just being a quarterback. His importance to the team is undeniable, and the Ravens cannot afford to let this comeback essence slip away. The real question is, what will be the next historic comeback that will make us believe again in the magic of Baltimore? If you also believe that the Ravens' comeback spirit is what makes us unique, share your opinion in the comments and show how crucial it is for the team.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself. See you there, and until the next video, go Flock.